Imagine, just for a moment, stepping outside on a crisp morning, your breath rising in the cool air as you look up at the sky. But today, something is different. Above you, the vast expanse of blue is framed by shimmering rings, delicate bands of ice, dust, and rock, encircling Earth in an intricate cosmic dance. The world as we know it is transformed, with these celestial adornments creating a vision so grand. It feels like something straight out of a science fiction novel. Earth, our blue planet, now wears a crown of rings like some mythical world. But how would this incredible phenomenon alter life as we know it? What changes would occur in our environment, our societies, and even in our fundamental understanding of the universe? Today, we journey into the realm of possibility, asking, what if Earth had rings? Would these cosmic decorations become a part of our identity, influencing everything from our climate to our culture? What would it mean for the future of humanity as we gaze up at the rings, both literally and symbolically? Join me as we explore how Earth's rings might impact everything, from the way we perceive the sky to how we live on this planet. To understand the potential impact of rings on Earth, we must first look to the stars. Saturn, the jewel of the solar system, is famous for its stunning rings, vast, beautiful, and awe-inspiring. These rings stretch across an astounding 280,000 kilometers. But here's the remarkable thing. They're thin, only about 10 meters thick in most places, despite their enormous span. Saturn's rings are a delicate balancing act, and for centuries, they've captivated scientists and stargazers alike. Now, let's imagine a similar system, only this time, it's around Earth. How would our own planet's rings behave, given our much smaller size and gravitational forces? Earth, though smaller, is a dynamic world, and its rings would likely differ from Saturn's. The proximity of the rings might be closer to the planet itself, making them a much more immediate feature in our skies. Would they stretch across the horizon, creating a constant visual backdrop, a cosmic arch around our home? Or would they form bands high above, glittering and shifting in the sunlight, visible only from certain locations? Earth's rings would likely be smaller in scale than Saturn's, given our planet's size and mass. But that doesn't mean they wouldn't be just as beautiful, depending on their composition. Perhaps a mixture of ice, rock, and cosmic dust. The rings might glow with an ethereal light, reflecting sunlight in dazzling patterns across the sky. Imagine Earth with its blue oceans and green continents framed by these sparkling rings, with the light shifting throughout the day, casting shadows and changing the way the world feels. The visual spectacle would be breathtaking, unlike anything we experience now. So, how could Earth acquire these rings? There are several possibilities. Perhaps, in the distant past, a moon or a massive asteroid collided with Earth, breaking apart into countless fragments that formed a swirling debris field around the planet. Or maybe, just like some of Saturn's rings, Earth could have captured a stray comet, its icy core slowly disintegrating into countless particles. These particles would become the raw material of Earth's rings, a blend of ice and dust that would swirl around our planet in an intricate pattern held together by the delicate balance between gravity and centrifugal force. Imagine the cosmic forces at work, the immense energy of a catastrophic impact or the slow, steady capture of a wandering comet. It's a process that takes millions of years to shape, and yet, we would see the result in our lifetimes. A living, breathing system of rings, constantly shifting, evolving, and interacting with the forces of nature. Over time, these rings would not be static. Far from it. The particles within the rings would constantly be in motion, colliding with each other, breaking apart, and reforming in a chaotic yet beautiful system. Some particles might slowly drift toward Earth, while others would be flung into deep space. The rings would be in constant flux, their shape and density changing over the course of years or even centuries. This dynamic system would shape the way we understand the planet, reminding us that nothing in the cosmos is truly fixed or permanent. Now, let's come back down to Earth. Picture standing outside, looking up. The first thing you'd notice is the sky. It's no longer just a deep, endless blue or starry night. The rings, large and imposing, dominate the view, their bands stretching across the sky. Some days, they would be fully visible, spanning from horizon to horizon, their intricate patterns reflecting light in brilliant arrays of color. Other days, clouds might obscure part of the rings, but still, their presence would be felt. They would become a part of the rhythm of our lives, a constant reminder of the vastness of the universe, and yet, their proximity to Earth would make them a familiar, almost intimate part of our world. How might this change our perception of the Earth itself? We often think of our planet as a serene, relatively small world, floating within a quiet, dark universe. But with the rings in the sky, Earth would suddenly feel larger, more connected to the cosmos. They would make the Earth seem like a place in the middle of something grand, something alive and dynamic. They would also be a constant symbol of Earth's fragility, reminding us that, in the grand expanse of the universe, even a planet as resilient as ours is subject to forces far beyond our control. But the impact of these rings wouldn't just be visual. They would likely have profound effects on Earth's climate. Rings, especially if they were dense or extended into the atmosphere, would reflect some of the sun's energy back into space. This could cool the planet, especially in the regions closest to the rings. The equator, for instance, might experience a drop in temperature, while the polar regions could warm up. This would alter global weather patterns, potentially making the seasons more extreme or shifting the distribution of rainfall across the globe. Think about it. Hurricanes, tornadoes, and storms might form in new ways, driven by the altered distribution of heat. And with the rings casting their shadows, certain regions might experience extended periods of twilight, creating environments that are both colder and more dynamic. Ecosystems, agricultural patterns, and even ocean currents might change in response to these shifts, pushing life on Earth to adapt in ways we can't yet fully predict. Earth's rings wouldn't just affect life on the ground. They would also create significant challenges for space exploration. Satellites and space stations would have to navigate carefully through these cosmic debris fields. Small particles of ice and rock traveling at high speeds could damage or even destroy spacecraft. In fact, sending rockets into space would be more difficult, as the gravitational pull of the rings might disrupt trajectories, making space missions riskier and more complex. Space agencies would have to develop new technologies to protect spacecraft, building specialized shields to withstand the debris, and launching them from different altitudes to avoid the densest parts of the rings. Even sending probes to the Moon or Mars might become a more delicate operation. The rings would create new obstacles, but also new opportunities to explore and study. As humanity's technology progresses, who knows? We might one day build our own rings around Earth, artificial systems of space stations or solar arrays, strategically placed to harness energy or enhance life on Earth. These rings might not only serve practical purposes, like generating renewable energy, but could also become a new form of cultural symbol, an iconic feature of human achievement and exploration. Perhaps they would become the backdrop for future space colonies as we extend our presence beyond Earth's surface. In the end, the question isn't just what Earth would look like with rings. It's about how those rings would change us. They would alter how we see ourselves in the universe. They would make the heavens feel closer, yet remind us of how small we are in the grand cosmic scheme. Earth's rings would be a symbol of the impermanence of things, the shifting nature of the universe, and the interconnectedness of all things, from the particles in the rings to the stars above us. They would transform our world, and in doing so, they would transform us.